It's September 22nd. It's 445 BC, and in today's reading, the rebuilt wall of Jerusalem is dedicated in a grand ceremony, followed by a jubilant celebration. What a profound and wonderful milestone in the life of the nation. Having accomplished his task, Nehemiah leaves Jerusalem and returns to Susa to his post, serving King Artaxerxes. After several months, he returns to Jerusalem to get a first-hand view of developments that have occurred in his absence. He is quite upset by what he finds. After all the time and effort, and after all that he has personally invested into restoring God's holy city, he and God's prophet Malachi must now call out the city's leaders and the people for disregarding and disobeying God's laws. Among the problems they find, a foreigner had been living in one of the temple's inner rooms. Foreigners were not even allowed to enter the inner courts of the temple. People weren't giving tithes and offerings, and as a result, the priests were not provided for, which meant that the daily sacrifices were not being carried out. People were working on the Sabbath, and people, even priests, were marrying foreign wives, which was strictly forbidden. People were offering blind and diseased and even stolen animals for sacrifice. The people of Jerusalem suffered under very poor leadership while Nehemiah was away. The law was not being taught, and thus it wasn't being implemented. Judaism was in some ways barely recognizable. Only a hard rebuke from the Lord was able to correct the situation. And so Nehemiah and Malachi called out the nation's leaders for the sins of the people and immediately implemented long overdue reforms. Regardless of the setting, the time period, or the nationality, people all over the world are the same. And the abuses that manifested in the newly restored Jerusalem are not unlike many that manifest in the lives of believers today. Without proper spiritual guidance, teaching, training, correction, and leadership, people will drift toward errant doctrinal interpretations and abusive religious practices. That's why doctrine matters. That's why teaching, correction, and reproof matter. That's why church discipline matters. We all need sound teaching and correction. We all need spiritual leadership. Here's today's application. Are you connected to a local church congregation? Are you being taught sound doctrine? Are you accountable to anyone for your spiritual disciplines? Well, if not, seek them out. Your spiritual well-being depends upon it. Now here's today's prayer.